The crank. I'm distracted by the crank. Welcome to the jump. I love that. First of all, Tracy was not having it. I was said earlier, I was like, maybe we could work the crank into like more of our regular weekly shows, and then I realized T-Mac would quit, so that would be sad.
Pimpin'.
You got it.
Oh boy, the memes. I'm Rachel Nichols alongside our NBA insider, Brian Windhorst, unless you want to just rename yourself full time, and the Hall of Famer, 6-time NBA champion, Scottie Pippen, one of the greatest of all time. We're always so happy when you're here. Coming up, how concerned should Anthony Davis be about whether he is or isn't going to play out the rest of the season? Because there's been some controversy and some back and forth on that, and Brian has some inside information we will discuss. But first, so if last night's Lakers-Celtics game had happened even just a day earlier, it might have been nicknamed something cute like the Anthony Davis Invitational. But as it was, hours after the trade deadline, it just felt like the framing of that had definitely passed. The Lakers had spent the week offering the Pelicans everything not nailed down at the Staples Center, but a trade for AD never came close to materializing. And you can argue that's because LA's assets just aren't actually good enough. Or you can theorize it was because of some sort of Game of Thrones style plot New Orleans concocted to embarrass the team. It's accused of tampering, poisoning the Lakers locker room from inside, Joffrey style. I like that. Or, maybe both things are true. Regardless, as soon as 3 p.m. Eastern passed, the pendulum swung very firmly over to the Celtics, who have both the desire and the firepower to land Davis this summer. And yeah, there are variables. If the Knicks do indeed land the #1 pick, it's possible they could put together a package to tempt New Orleans and then use Davis to help lure Kyrie Irving over to Madison Square Garden. But regardless, the chances of AD going to the Lakers now seem more remote than ever. And as LA's players walked into Boston Garden with that 42-point loss to the Pacers still ringing in their ears, you had to wonder if LA was about to spend the rest of the season in a bit of a downward spiral. And it didn't look good in the second quarter as the Lakers fell behind by as much as 18. But slowly, they began to shoot their way back into it. And the end of the game was just flat out fantastic on both sides. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 3. LeBron James, 3. Jason Tatum nailing both free throws. Then we had Kyle Kuzma, 3. Kyrie had a floater off the glass. This was beautiful.
Awesome.
And then with just seconds on the clock and the Celtics up by 1, Al Horford blocks Brandon Ingram, but the ball finds its way to Rajon Rondo, who hits the game winner. Man, what a shot in the arena where they cheered for him for so many years, with Kevin Garnett sitting courtside in his Celtics jersey. That was just fantastic. Later, we'd hear that this was the first time Rondo has ever hit a last-second game winner in his career. Later, we'd also see the video that the guys at Silver Screen and Roll put together. They put that shot side by side with video of Rondo and his young son from earlier in the morning. And take a look. It's like nearly identical. It's so cool. Later, we'd hear this story from Chris Webber.
Yesterday, the Lakers didn't have practice. Rondo called some guys in. About 10 guys came into practice. Coach said he was the best distraction. He started talking junk to guys, and they started off 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and then 4-on-4. Luke Walton said the mood of the team changed is something that never happened before after a 2-point loss, let alone a 42-point loss. How about that? Rondo, a leader on and off the court.
Pretty cool. No, Rajon Rondo is now not suddenly going to be some magic AD substitute, but last night he was enough. Last night the Lakers were enough, and it will be interesting to watch now that, for better or worse, the Lakers are no longer framed by the pursuit of Anthony Davis. Now we get to see how they will frame themselves. And the LA Times is reporting that Magic Johnson is going to join the team on the road this weekend, Scotty, to talk to the players about what happened at the trade deadline, let them all say their piece and try to move forward as a group. Do you think it's going to work? Do you expect the Lakers to be able to rebound from this? Because one win in the Garden does not a season make, right?
No, it's definitely not a season mix, but I think this is an issue that Magic has to address. I think these players have been sort of dragged through the mud for the last month or so with trade talk. So I think he has to regain their confidence to some way and also assure them that they're going to be Lakers for a while. Whether or not, they can believe that or have to believe that, he has to sell that to them. But again, they have to go play basketball. This is part of our business. You get your name thrown around in trade talks all the time, whether you're a superstar or you're the bottom guy on the totem pole. So you still got to go and play. And I think having LeBron back will help these young players. He truly boosts their confidence, and they just seem to be a better team when he's out on the court.
Rachel, this is what I call the Lakers' cone of uncertainty.
Oh, I love the cone. The cone is back. We're going to get you an actual cone by the time the playoffs come around.
They just have some really great victories. They've won in Oklahoma City. They've won in Golden State. They win in Boston on a game where it really could have gone the opposite way. Rondo was 0-11 on those shots in the last 10 seconds. They missed 11 free throws in this game. They very easily could have lost by one and been kicking themselves for losing at the free throw line. So when you look at the Lakers going forward, now that we're talking about this team, anything is possible. They could get into the playoffs and get a good seed and make the conference finals. They could finish 10th. And that's why I think they're one of the most compelling teams going forward.
Oh, we're bringing this back up again.
Just because it's great.
It is amazing. It's so good.
I think it's great that LeBron is, for the first time, having to deal with the pressure of making the playoffs. You know, he's always had that comfort level when he was playing in the East of pretty much being the best team in the East. Well, now his backs are against the wall, and he's really having to play playoff basketball in February, if I could say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to show you guys, so this is the 6 through 8 teams, 6 through 10 seeds in the Western Conference, and we have their strength of schedule. So here is where we go, right? The Lakers of that group have the toughest schedule coming up, and that is a significant swing. Look at the Jazz's schedule versus look at the Lakers' schedule and how tough it is. And Scotty, I think it's so interesting what you say about LeBron, because forget just not getting hurt again, he is going to have to play hard, and he's going to really have to make the point.
It's tough because at this stage of his career, we've kind of watched him dial back a little bit. Now it's time for him to turn it up, just watching last night's game and watching the last few seconds of that game and how, Celtics tried to take the ball out of LeBron's hands. Just the effort that he gave to try to get the ball and to show that you're the greatest player. I was kind of disappointed with that, but he has to give more effort. This is playoff basketball for him night in and night out. Yeah. They got lucky last night.
Scotty broke down the last play for me in a way that I hadn't seen it before, and I gave Marcus Morris credit for denying LeBron the ball, but he didn't really go get it as you would expect him to. And as Scotty also pointed out to me, that rebound that Rondo corrals, LeBron sort of wasn't chasing it. He was way out of the play. So
and my point to that is, and it was really not really taking a shot at LeBron, but sort of taking a shot at him. If you consider yourself the greatest player, then you got to get that ball at the end of the game. You have to be the one that the Lakers have to stop. And to me, he didn't make any effort to go get the ball. But secondly, as the shot goes up, he was like he was nailed into the floor. He never made an effort, and thank God Tyson was able to get a hand on this ball, or the Lakers would have lost that game. And it would have been a disappointing, because it would have definitely been magnified what LeBron did at the end of that game.
And our producers were showing Kobe Bryant there a minute ago, because you brought up to them this morning that streak that Kobe had where they were trying. I mean, it's an irony, right? Because Kobe Bryant was, and this was obviously much later in the season than February, but he started playing 48 minutes a game to try to push the Lakers to the number 8 seed in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And that is when he snapped his Achilles.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I'm saying about LeBron, is that he's going to have to play some of his hardest basketball over the next couple months if he want to find himself back in the postseason. He has a great streak going in terms of getting in the postseason. It's going to be tough this season.
All right, I want to hit the All-Star draft, because really my dreams became a reality. We all got to see it televised live. Let's hit some of the highlights from last night.
With the first pick to Team LeBron, I am going with Kevin Durant.
Didn't you pick Kevin Durant first last year, too?
I sure did.
See, I finally got the answer from you after 365 days, because you wouldn't say it last year. Good, so that can be put to bed now.
I'm going with Anthony Davis.
You sure you want him to be your teammate?
I'm very sure of that.
Is it that tampering?
No.
I had to go with Kyle Lowry. I promised him I'm not going to take him last. So
Well, he was your last pick. Well, yeah, almost. We have one
wait,
more.
he's not the last pick though.
Okay, I got you.
Everyone in the world know who I'm going with, and I'm going with Dirk. I'm going with my buddy, Dwayne Wade. Well, since it's that time of the year, Ernie, and I have a feeling that Giannis would love to see Russ and Embiid be teammates because we know how much they get along. I'm proposing a Russell Westbrook for Ben Simmons trade.
What if you put Dwayne Wade in the trade? This is your guy, so I'll do it.
I think the best way to do this for Giannis to trade everybody on his bench for Anthony Davis. I think that'll be
See that is Chuck being
great.
fantastic. That was great from all the guys. Salute to the TNT crew. Thank you so much for making my dreams become a reality. I'm thrilled watching that last night. They did such a fantastic job. And by the way, after that, Ben Simmons is watching this and he tweets, "Go Team Giannis." And then he's like, "Oh, wait, redo. Go Team LeBron." And then he and LeBron get involved on like, why wasn't Woj involved?